Okay, this is going to be a complete teardown of the Landor Arms AR12 model LND117. I've had this for a little while. This is actually the second one I've had. The first one was replaced under a warranty claim. Done some videos. This is going to be complete though, teardown and reassembly, just kind of for reference. So let's get started. Obviously, I don't have to lecture you about gun safety. Make sure you're clear. You want to pull the bolt back, hit your bolt catch here, let go, okay? So your bolt's back. You're going to drop your feed ramp here. That's the lever should hit the stop right there. These I've heard, and actually on this particular gun, that was real sticky at first. I had to use pliers to just kind of move it. So once you've got that dropped, go ahead and release your bolt. I hit my safety just because why not, which actually, so you'll notice this is the first mod I've done on the gun, or one of, but my safety is on the right hand side, not the left. I shoot left-handed, and so for me, thumb operation on this side obviously is what I need. Just makes it a little easier. So all right, gonna go ahead and move to the front here. I have these pliers that have the plastic jaw covers here. Got these from Home Depot in the plumbing department. If you're looking for these, I just use these so that they don't mark the gun. Go ahead and get the nut off there. The handguard can be a little tricky sometimes at first. I've had this for a while, and so it basically just breaks free right away, but you may have to wiggle it a lot, really kind of convince it the first few times. Go ahead and slip that off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the charging handle. I have the cover on mine. This is has been pointed out to me that this is a shipping cover that's intended to be thrown away, but this charging handle, in my opinion, kind of weak, small and pointy. I have a soft case that I use to carry my guns in, and so I leave this on because it keeps it from tearing up the soft case when I'm transporting the guns, and also makes it easier for me to grab when you know, I have misfeeds. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the charging lever. Now this on mine is still real tight. I have to use pliers to get it out. You may not. That's, you know, gonna vary based on the gun. But in order to get it out, you have to line the notch up in the bolt here with the charging handle. So what you do is you just kind of push back on the action bar here a little bit, and you'll see that it lines up, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. And get my pliers ready. So go ahead and line that up. Probably can't see too well from here, but and then just kind of pull this out like so. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the gas piston and everything, get that taken apart. Go ahead and I actually have two pairs of these. So what you'll see, and normally I'm doing this in a vise, but my camera doesn't go over there, so go ahead and grab this on the knurling, grab this one on the knurling, and get them started. There we go. The only thing is these do slip a little bit, so you have to really squeeze. Okay. So that's the top nut, just comes off obviously. Next, to get this piece off, you'll notice, and you can even see it here, there's a split ring here. So just kind of pull this down, the back part here, the action bar again. Mine sticks to those, yours may not, but so as soon as I slide that down, one of those already popped out. Here's the other one. You can just go ahead and take those out, set those aside. Okay, then I will go ahead and slide this off. Now this is going to be a little tight because there's a rubber O-ring in it that we're going to talk about in just a second. Okay, so be careful when you're going over the threads here, but I don't know if I can get this to focus or not in here. But you can see right there, that's a rubber O-ring, okay? That's very important for the gas system to function correctly. You want to make sure that when you're cleaning all of this, you don't mark that up, nick it, use anything that's going to be like a caustic type of cleaner that would degrade the rubber. Okay, so anyway, here's the piston. This will just slide off as well. And then getting the barrel out is going to be, we have to take the barrel nut here. So you should have gotten this fabulous little wrench. I didn't get this on my first one, the first gun I had. It comes in the bag that has the sling, but you can see it just hooks on like so, and you spin the barrel nut. This is proprietary size. I tried using, on the first one, I tried using standard AR wrenches and it wouldn't work. So I'm gonna get that started. Okay, once I've broken the barrel nut loose, what I will do is I will pull the spring, and I kind of have to do this at an angle so you can see it, but what I'll do is I will pull the spring down and hold it, and then I can just spin the barrel nut out easily until it drops, like so, okay? And then just kind of release that gently. Now, you see my barrel's already sliding out. When you first get these, the barrel is gonna also probably be tricky to get out. So what I did is you basically use this like a slide hammer. Pull the action bar back and then let it go. And then pull it back and let it go so that it will help yank the barrel out of the upper, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside. So now we've got our barrel bolt and the action bar or bolt carrier, whatever they call it. So again, I'm going to kind of slide down the barrel here and hold, and there you go, your bolt falls out, pretty much. Again, release this gently, okay? Now to get the action bar off, you can see right now it's kind of side loaded, and I don't have really a lot of room to wiggle with because the spring is in here. So what you'll want to do, kind of pull this back so it sits normal. Again, you're going to pull, actually I'm sorry, the other direction. You're going to pull this spring down here, okay, just, and then hold it, okay? Once you get the spring to release from inside the action bar here, like so, then you have this, you know, it's got wiggle room, and you can just slide it out, okay? So that's kind of a trick that I learned along the way. And then just slowly release that spring, and then that will just slide off, obviously, and then the barrel nut. So that's the upper, well, the upper components. Now, as far as the upper itself, to get that out, first there's a nut, or I'm sorry, a screw in here that you will remove, just a Phillips, standard Phillips. And on this one, my screw stays in there, it doesn't come out. You can see it there, but it's kind of like stuck in the plastic, whatever. I don't know, it's fine for me. It still drops the butt pad. Once you've done that, what you will have, and I'm gonna have to show you this because this is now modification number 2 that I've made. Okay, inside the handle here, basically up against the upper, all the way inside, is this bolt. Okay, this is what holds the lower to the upper. I believe this is a 13, if I look at this. Yeah, so, yeah, it's a 13. So, what I have instead of that is a nut, and I don't know if it will show there, kind of, you can see, my light's not real good, but there's a nut down there instead of a bolt. It makes reassembly a little bit trickier, but the reason I did that is because my upper stripped. So let me show you what this looks like. But basically you just unscrew this. It's the same with the bolt, just unscrew it, get that out of there. Okay. Okay, and it will drop the bolt and then this washer, okay? Now, to get the upper off at this point, basically it slides forward, okay? This is, on mine, is very tight, so I had to push really hard the first time, but you can see now it's not so bad. Again, I can kind of show you, I put my thumb here and then here on the back of the rail and just kind of push with my finger on the front of it so it doesn't go flying when it breaks free. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm holding it, and that's it. Now, you can see this is not stock. Okay, so that, again, like I say, this normally is where the bolt goes to hold the lower to the upper. This stripped on mine, and so what I had to do is I threaded a bolt going the other direction where the threads were still good, and now it just works like that. So okay, so that's basically it. Everything apart is as far as you would need, really. At this point, you would clean everything. I can show you here, just paint thinner to clean it. It's cheap, doesn't smell bad. I have a bowl with a little parts screen here and a brush, so you can just kind of toss stuff in there as you're pulling it apart, let it soak, clean everything up, and you should be good to go. As far as reassembly, kind of reverse everything. It's not super difficult. I'll tell you, as far as lubing this, I use, and I know there's a lot of hate on this one, I just use CLP, whatever. So obviously the action bar here, when it's inside the upper, it rides along these grooves here in the upper. So I will lubricate those lightly, not super crazy. None of this, in my opinion, you want to go super crazy on, but I'll lubricate those rails on both sides. I will lube the extractor here a little bit, just make sure that's good. The firing pin, you know, just put a little lube there, let it kind of drip down inside, make sure that works good. And then, you know, the trigger, if you feel like you want to add some lubricant to that, you can. You shouldn't, again, not a whole lot. Shouldn't really need much, but that's basics. The gas system, I won't personally lubricate that. I usually leave that fairly dry, and when I say fairly dry, what I mean is I have this rag, it's got some residual lube on it, and so the most what I'll do is I will wipe down the barrel like that, just so that it has a little bit of a sheen on it, and that's it. Okay, so that, and then I will also lube the rails themselves that sit inside those grooves a little bit, the bolt carrier, you know, all of this area here, so that, because the bolt's going to be working back and forth on that. That's about it. So let's go ahead and get it put back together, see what that looks like. Essentially just reverse everything. Go ahead and get that in. I'm not going to bore you with getting this put back together because it is a little tricky. So you get your upper reassembled, you know, get your bolt back in there, put the butt pad back on, and then start with the barrel. So first of all, we're going to do the spring here. I don't know if the spring is directional. I think it might be. It looks to me like the side that's down here might be a little wider. So I always put this back on the same way. I could be wrong on that. It could be wider just simply because this is flared and the spring has gotten you know, expanded by sitting on that. So, oh, actually need the barrel nut first. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Spring. And then I do the same thing here. To get this back on, I will slide the spring down and kind of hold it. Then drop the action bar here and kind of work it around my fingers. And I have to twist the barrel here, so you want to get this lined up with this side of it, obviously. Kind of let that fall down and into place. And that's kind of it. As far as the bolt, same idea. Pull this down, hold it, get the bolt on the carrier. And now what you're doing when you let the spring go, go slow, don't just let it release. You're lining up the extractor, obviously, with the groove here. And then also, you've got this notch here in the barrel, at the end of the barrel, that needs to line up with this groove here on the bolt, okay? So, it doesn't have to happen at the same time. I usually go with the extractor first. You can kind of see as I'm letting it go, right, that lines up. And I did happen to get this time, But what'll happen sometimes, you'll see I'll get my extractor lined up like this, right? That looks good, but you can see this is out of alignment back here. So again, you just kind of push it and then get everything lined up, and it's not real difficult. Okay, go ahead and slide the barrel back in to the upper. Now again, I am super paranoid about stripping this because this is aluminum, right? Obviously, and I've already had the back strip. So with the barrel nut, what I will do to get it started, I will, and again, I'm not gonna do this at an angle, this is crazy. I will put it down this way, and let me actually get this started. Okay, I'll pull the spring so there's no spring tension on the barrel nut. Okay, you can kind of see this is free, and I will let the weight of the upper just rest, you know, on the barrel, and then I will slide the barrel nut into it and start spinning it. So that way I can tell when it's threading and it's spinning freely, I'm not going to cross thread. Okay, let the spring go, grab your barrel nut wrench, tighten that up. Okay, get that snug. Again, don't go crazy. This is aluminum, you don't want to strip it. But you know, you also don't want it coming apart at the range. So do what you think is good. Okay, one more thing that I'll lube here as I put all this together. Well, let me go ahead and get the gas cylinder, right? We're gonna get that. This, remember, has that that rubber O-ring in it. So I will literally just take a little bit of lube on my finger, just a little, kind of shake some of that off. Okay, so you can see my finger's barely wet, and I will just go around that rubber O-ring on the inside and then use a dry finger and get the excess out, and that's it. Okay, again, none of this, in my opinion, especially the gas system, you want to go crazy with the lube because it will gum up real fast. So now that I've got that set, go ahead and work this down. Okay, and then just pull everything down, put your split rings back. Okay, like so, and then release. Now when I release, you can see on mine these split rings are super tight, so this does not cover them right away. So what I'll do is I'll kind of make sure I'm, you know, pushing those and kind of work that up a little bit until it starts to go over them, and I'm sure that they are inside that, and then I will just use the nut to suck everything down and together, again by hand, making sure there's no obvious catch or anything. So right, so we're good there, and then I will tighten it back up. These I usually try and go pretty tight on these because these will loosen up as you shoot if they're not tight enough. Okay, at this point what I'll do is I will put the charging handle back in. So again, you can see the notch in the bolt here has to line up with the notch there, and as you slide that back, you can see that's what you need in order to get the charging handle back in. Okay, now the charging handle goes with the indent here. You can see one side is indented, the other side has a ridge. So the indent goes down, the ridge goes up. Okay, so you line up the bolt here, kind of make sure that's all good, then get that started and just kind of slam it in. And there you go. All right, at this point you can pull the bolt all the way back, hit your catch, make sure you put your feed ramp back up, and then release, and you're pretty much home free at this point. Put the handguard back on. You have this goes in the front. I don't know what this thing does. It unscrews, and I really have no idea what its purpose is. So maybe if anyone knows, you can let me know. but it doesn't seem to index anything. It doesn't, you know, I don't know, it just kind of sits inside the oops, barrel shroud there. So there we go. Okay, and that is it. Go ahead and tighten that up, and that's all. So there you go, start to finish. Hopefully that helps.